myself is Divya Bahal, Assistant Professor in Chemical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. The subject that we are going to continue is your nanoscience and technology. Clear? So, in last lecture, we started our chapter number 1. Okay, we saw about history of nanotechnology, its definition. So now the remaining topic is about effect of nanotechnology in different fields. Okay, so you can relate it with its application. So the major areas are what? Engineering, energy, medicine and electronics, right? So in engineering point of view, you can see that nanotechnology is used in making of nanocomposites. Okay, other than that you have sensors also. Then self-cleaning glasses, membrane filters. Okay, so these are the new advances in which you use the concepts of nanotechnology to engineer new devices. Okay, new devices or new materials. So that is in your engineering. Next we have applications in energy. So what are included in energy? First is your thermal conversion. Okay. For that you can use the concepts of nanotechnology. Then solar cells, batteries and catalysts. The best example of batteries you can relate that the reduction in the size of your cell phones. How is it possible? Because of the thinning of batteries. And how the size of batteries can be reduced? So here you are using the concept of nanotechnology. Okay, in smaller or in less convenient size, in a lesser size, you are increasing the efficiency of your batteries. Okay, and other than that, solar cells. So right now discovery, or you can say concentration, is in that area that instead of using big solar panels, we can use solar films. Okay, a thin film just with a thickness of hardly 0.5 mm. Okay, it can replace the solar panel. Those are very costly to produce right now, but inventions and focus is on that area, right? Then you have catalyst also, nano catalyst, as you will study in further chapter number 8. Okay, so now what about the medicine? Already we have some orthopedic implants, nano drugs, then we have molecular engine, then it is used in diagnosis. The best example at present where we use nanotechnology, that is in chemotherapy. Okay, for the treatment of cancer, the nano drugs, what you used your iodine. Okay, nano form of iodine is used to carry out the diagnosis of cancer. Other than that, for treatment also we use nano drugs. Then for electronics, you have molecular electronics. Okay, already MEMS, micro electronic mechanical system. Using the concept of nanotechnology, electronics has already been shifted to miniaturization. Right, then you have CNFET, application of carbon nanotubes in electronic function. Okay, then for memory cards also, we know that now the memory card, okay, we have what, about 32 GB to 64 GB, it's hardly 0.5 inch. Okay, so that you can see the reduction in the size of your memory cards. Then we have photo detectors also, right? So these are certain examples. Other than that, what you will need to study? Electronics, medicine, optics, catalysis, agriculture, material science, robotics. Okay, so these are the different fields where nanoscience and technology has its importance. So first, let's focus on material and production. Okay, about the materials. So now here you can see the best example, comparison between a normal glass and a SGV BioClean. So let's take this BioClean. What is it? A layer of nanoparticles is being coated here. Okay, what kind of nanoparticle? Like titanium dioxide. Okay, in nano level form, titanium dioxide is coated on your glass surface, and because of that, this material which is coated, it has high non-water retentive property, and it is also antibacterial. Okay, so you can see the wettability of your surface, it has been decreased, right? So another is in electronics and information technology. So you can say that the major application of your nanotechnology is in electronics department. Okay, why? Because you can make faster, smaller and more portable system. At present what we are focusing in the miniaturization concept. Okay, the motto that small is good, focus is on that. you need to have everything which is portable with you. Okay, so for that, nanotechnology is most prominent in this area. Okay, then for medical application, already nano drugs are being used. Now for diagnosis, okay, for diagnosis you need some nano robots also, right? So you can see the research and clinical classification of your medical application. So at present research is done on drug screening, gene delivery, diagnosis. Okay, then clinically drug delivery is important, detection of your virus or bacteria, that is important, then monitoring of your diagnosis. Okay, so for that thing nanotechnology is used. Okay, so example is at present currently which you are using in medical application, that is your chemotherapy drugs. So what happens in drug delivery? Nanoparticles deliver the drugs, okay, to the particular that area only, where you need to treat those virus which is attacking your body organ. So your nanoparticle drugs, okay, the drugs, they will affect that area only rather than affecting all other parts of your body. Clear? Then now we have textile application. So this is also at present, you can see nanotechnology has already been used. Best example is we know about the Levi's jeans, okay, which is water resistant, right? They claim that it is water resistant, water is not able to wet the cloth. So what is that? Once again nanoparticles are being coated on the surface of your fabric, right? So what kind of nanoparticles? Like clay, metal oxide, carbon black, graphite nanofibers, okay. These nanoparticles are used such that they improve the physical properties of your textile products. Okay, and it also increases their mechanical resistance and enhance their conductivity and anti-static behavior. So at present, what is the application here? In anti-stain and anti-wrinkle products, right? So now we have environment and energy application. So where it is used best in water and wastewater treatment. So what kind of nano things we are using? Like nano absorbents are there, right? In absorption, what we use? Absorbents, right? Then we have nano catalyst, nano membrane, remediation. Okay, in all these areas which is related to your environment, we use nanotechnology in one or the other form. Then in energy, what we are focusing in the development of your solar cell. So you can see in the picture that is a very thin solar film, right? Already impact is over the use of solar energy. You can see very big thick panels of solar panels are used, right? So now in the future the focus is to use this solar films instead of your heavy solar panels, right? Then we have what? Rechargeable batteries, super capacitors, LED lighting. Okay, so these are the application or effect of nanoscience in this area. So just in brief, you can see what are the application. At present, catalyst, like this is one of the brand of catalyst which is already used, right? Then we have remediation, SAMMS technology is used to remove the mercury. Okay, then in paper you use photographic paper. For filters we have nanofibers. Okay, different kind of nanofibers, they have different names. For toothpaste also you use. Then in food, major application is what? In packaging area. For paint also, okay, for paint what is the target? To improve the adhesion. Okay, we know that after some time the paint, okay, it flakes out and gets removed from your wall. So application of nanotechnology is what here? That to improve its adhesion quality, okay, that it sticks to the wall for a longer period of time. Then again antifungal qualities. Then for clothes, for non-staining, anti-wrinkle, right? For batteries also, and in cleaning products. So these are the certain areas where you use your nanoscience and technology principles. Now let's focus into chapter number 3. So after this was the completion of your chapter number 1, and now we are going to start with chapter number 3, that is nanoparticle synthesis. So what you will be studying in this chapter, first you have top down and bottom up approach of synthesis. Okay, so all your methods of synthesization, you are dividing it into two approaches. One is top down approach, another is bottom up approach. Then you are going to study certain methods like colloids, emulsion, bacillus, polymers, mechanical attrition, high energy ball milling. Okay, so these are the certain sections in which you will be studying the synthesis of nanoparticles. So now how to synthesize nanoparticles? First and foremost is that the key to make nanoparticles is how to control and stop the reaction to make nano-sized products. Okay, so the main gist is when you're synthesizing it, that you must know how to control its mechanism, its synthesization, and when to stop. Right? If your desired nanoparticle, if its size and shape has been reached, then you must know when to stop that further synthesization. Okay. Why you need to be considered over that? Because the properties of your nanoparticle, they depend mainly on its size and morphology. In last lecture, okay, when we were discussing about the optical property, what we saw that your gold nanoparticle, if its range is about 20 nanometer, it is going to exhibit, I guess, red color. Okay, but if you are increasing the size of same gold nanoparticle to, let's say, 50 nanometer, then it is suppose showing orange color. So that is what difference in its optical properties. So that is why, because of the, why it is that? Because of the size. As size is changing, the properties of nanoparticle is changing. Similarly on the morphology also, right? So let's see the nanoparticle synthesis. It is divided into two forms: top down approach and bottom top approach. Your bottom up approach is also known as bottom top approach. So you can see here in top down approach what is happening. Your bulk material, from bulk material you are reducing it into size up to nanoparticle level. Whereas in bottom top approach, the reverse is there. Okay, from smallest entity you are going to join them together to make it up to nano size level. Right? Once again, see into the picture what you are doing in top down approach, what all methods which are included in top down approach, what they are doing. From bulk material, their size is reduced till nanoparticles. Whereas in bottom top approach, what is happening? The smallest entity like atoms or molecule, they are joining together to form a cluster. Okay, and then those clusters join together to form nanoparticles. Okay, now the top down approach and bottom top approach, all of them work in three methods. It can be physical, chemical and biological. Right, see, try to understand the hierarchy. You have certain methods in synthesizing. I am dividing it into the working. Okay, some work from top to bottom. Okay, from bulk to nano size level, some of the methods work that way. Other methods, they work from atom molecule agglomeration till nanoparticle size. But all these methods, okay, they can be further characterized based on physical, chemical and biological methods. Clear? So now let's see what is physical method. Again, your physical method it can be divided into mechanical form or vapor deposition type. Right? So physical method, generally those methods, they work at high temperature. Right? Their temperature level is what? It is greater than 350 degrees Celsius. For chemical methods, they are generally simple and inexpensive. Their temperature, okay, working temperature is what? It is below 350 degrees Celsius. Right? So this method, chemical method, when it is used when you need to make large quantity of your nanoparticles, okay, with variety of size and shapes. Finally, you have biological methods. They use what? Microorganisms, fungi, yeast or plant extracts, or use templates such as DNA, virus and membrane. Okay. Now, important topic here is what are the factors which you have to consider while synthesizing your nanoparticles. So first is temperature. So you can see temperature is important in all methods, okay, whether it is physical, chemical or biological. For biological, your temperature should be less than 100 degrees Celsius. For chemical method, your temperature is less than 350 degrees Celsius. But for physical method, your temperature is generally more than 350 degrees Celsius. Right? Now about pressure. Why pressure is important? Because the pressure parameter, it affects the size and shape of nanoparticles. So let's try to understand this way. If size and shape of nanoparticle decreases, its properties also changes. So if you want desired property of your nanoparticle, you have to be very specific with the pressure condition. Okay. Then time also. Now here try to relate that time and quality are related together. Okay, so the quality of your nanoparticle, it depends on the length of time during which reaction is carried out. Okay, so for example, quality is important in your chemical reaction, right? For example, nanocatalyst. Okay, how we can judge the quality of your nanocatalyst? If its reactivity is good, then its quality is good. So that quality depends on the time which you are giving for its synthesization. Okay. Next is we have particle shape and size. This is also important parameter. So see here, if you're decreasing the size, melting point also decreases. Okay. So similarly, you can see that if you are, if your condition, if your necessity of the nanoparticle is that it should have a less melting point. So what you have to do, you have to reduce its size further down. Okay. Now about shape. Shape has a relationship with chemical properties. So if you want to change certain chemical properties, shape has to be changed. Okay. Next is the cost of preparation. Of course, this is very important, right? So your methods, whatever you're selecting, it should be cost effective, right? So let's take the comparison of three methods. So your chemical method, if you're using chemical method for carrying out synthesization, it gives you high yield. Yield is high, but it is not cost effective. For physical methods also, it is again not cost effective. Whereas your biological methods, they are cost effective. Thus I can say that if for my synthesization of certain nanoparticle, if biological methods give me almost same yield and almost same quality, right, then I can choose biological method. Why? Because it is cost effective. Now about the pore size. Your pore size is important, especially for drug delivery. Okay. Quality and its application is influenced highly by its porosity. In drug delivery, like in medication, we know a very small mg of your drug is enough to treat your whole body, right? So that is about the dosage. So that dosage can be minimized if you are increasing its efficiency, right? If you are increasing its quality. So for that purpose, porosity is important. Now about pH value. So why pH is important? See, because in chemical and biological methods, the pH, it affects the size and texture of nanoparticles. So we already saw here, if your size changes, then your properties also changes. So thus pH is also related with the property. Okay. So the pH is important, especially in what? Chemical and biological method. So thus pH is important factor here, so as to maintain the size and texture of your nanoparticle, right? Next is environment. See here, environment in context of the environment of the system when you are carrying out the synthesis process, right? So see, it is important especially for biological methods. So why? Because environment of that system, environment of that biological system, it affects the physical structure of your formed nanoparticles, right? So for biological method, I can say that pH is also the condition of environment. Okay, if the environment is acidic or basic, right? So in that context, environment is related.